Hi, everybody. It's Craig from Doc's Daily here and Doc Sports, of course. It is Wednesday, the 5th of March, and we see some conference tournaments starting, which means the madness has officially begun. And we're going to have a ton of college hoops plays as we move forward here through March Madness, including today. We'll give out one free play from all four of us. Of course, we got Griffin and Nick, but as always on Wednesday, we have the king of the sports books from behind the counter. He has been doing this a long time, so we're going to pick Raphael's brains today as well. And ding, 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 game of the year alert for one of our guys here, Griffin. This way. I don't know. It's below Raphael here. Yeah, Griffin's got an 8-unit NBA game of the year, so make sure you check it out. Griffin, you want to tell them what they can get. Hey, and I'll give you a little team. This is the one you want to get on. When we say 7 and 8 units, that's what you want to get on. Tell them what they can get today with this game of the year, Griffin.
For new members, or as far as
either way. If
new members, you get a free. If you're a new member, go ahead and go to docsports.com/free60. That's where you can go grab yourself a free $60 account. You can use that free $60 on my 8-unit game of the year tonight as a new member. It comes with an absolute guarantee, so you get your money back either way. But with that being said, that's what it is right now. Currently on the NBA side of things, I'm on a 31-19 or 20 run in my last 50 cards for $6,500. When it comes to my plays graded 7.0 plus on another $6,500 tear. So NBA has been absolutely dialed in. I want to say over 51 cards. I'm hitting 62% right now, Craig.
All right, so super excited. We've all got some nice little action tonight, but hey, I want to get right into the NBA. This is the time of year where there's tons. I want to get the NBA out of the way so we can talk college basketball, basically is what I want to do. So let's kick it off. Let's bring in the behind-the-counter approach, as we want to call it, Raphael. Is there anything in the NBA that stands out for you here for a free play?
Well, I thought we were going to talk Champions League soccer first, but I guess we'll talk about the NBA. But yeah, it's a mediocre card. This one, there's so many big double digits, so many stars, questionable not playing. So I went into a prop way on this one. I like the Pistons team total over 112.5 because the Claw is not playing tonight for the Clippers. The Clippers blew a big lead, played overtime against the Phoenix Suns. They blew a double-digit lead to the Phoenix Suns. Really, the Phoenix Suns, they stink right now. Pistons, 7 out of the last 10 games, they have hit this number of 112.5. Their last 10 games, they're averaging 123 points a game. I'm taking the team total because I don't know what's the mentality of the Clippers tonight, especially with no Leonard.
Yeah, I mean, the Clippers they're even playing Kawhi Leonard more minutes than what they really want. They did that against the Lakers in the back-to-back, and I think that's not going to pay off because he seems like a guy that's only can give you about 27 to 28 minutes. The more minutes you give, he has not performed to at the same rate. I just don't think at this point of his career you can go out there and dog him. And the Clippers have been terrible. I'm not as bad as the Phoenix Suns, even though the Phoenix Suns did beat them last night. So I do like that play. I think Detroit is what are they, 8-2 of their last 10 against the spread? So they've been playing really good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to jump back a little bit. This is when us as handicappers or gamblers and all that, when I tell people either you're doing this for a hobby or you're doing this to make a living and paying off your wife's Amazon addiction. Last night, I'm watching this game, and the fourth quarter was blowing. They still had the Detroit Pistons on the money line, minus 125 for today's game, knowing that, okay, the Clippers are going into overtime. That means it tells you Kawhi Leonard's not playing the next game. If they're going into overtime, there's no way he's playing. Now the number's 4.5. This one's going to go up to 5. So now I have almost a 5 to probably a 6-point cushion if I want to middle this game when it's the last game at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I'm in a great spot. I'm hoping that the bettors continue to bet the Pistons.
Yeah, and I think this line will move up because once you start to see it, Powell might not go tonight as well.
Yep.
So, you have there's their two best players. Although James Harden, I will say, as bad as I dogged James Harden the last decade, he's kind of been his best version as a Clipper. I mean, the guy's carrying him. He's playing every game and playing heavy minutes. And so you have to at least give a little James Harden prop the way he's played this year. All right, Griffin, I know you got the big 8-unit game of the year, so make sure everybody gets in on that. Use that free 60, or if you're an existing customer, just go to the grid. But do you have a free play as well tonight?
I was actually on the same one Ralph just talked about, so we can jump into this OKC Thunder game. OKC Thunder's laying 8.5. They're rolling into Memphis to play the Grizzlies. We have a total sitting at 250.5. Jackson's out right now for this Memphis team, and as well as John Moran is listed as a game time decision. Those are two little sneaker quick look at right now. Memphis right now, first in offensive points per game and first in pace of play. OKC, fourth in offensive points per game and seventh in pace of play. The total is currently sitting at a 250.5, which is just extremely high in my eyes. We also have an 8.5 point differential here. So that kind of throws in a lot of liabilities in my eyes. This total sitting at 250.5 does not add up whatsoever. With Jackson being out and Morant being listed as a game time decision, there's just way too many liabilities in my eyes. So I'm taking the under 250.5 in this matchup between the OKC Thunder and the Memphis Grizzlies here, Craig.
Well, Memphis has been high scoring all year long, but the defense, the last, I think it's 5 games, are the worst in the league. They're allowing the highest field goal percentage, the most points. I mean, they are just not even trying. I mean, this looks like the Brooklyn Nets, Atlanta Hawks type defense. It's to me, or even the Washington Wizards, to me, if this Memphis team has delusions or illusions, whichever, of grandeur that they're going to be able to win in the playoffs this year, they got to find their defense. So I think this is an interesting matchup because Oklahoma City Thunder has just been murdering people. Raphael, I think when you look at this as far as a bookmaker, it's you almost can't set these lines high enough for OKC because they're absolutely killing teams on throughout the whole season.
I agree on that one, but for this matchup, and Griffin nailed it. If this one goes to 251.5 or 252, I think the public could do that. I don't think John Morant's playing because it's 8. If he was really questionable, why would they put the liability so high? They would probably make it 5 instead of a 3-point cushion, instead of an 8-point cushion. Last 10 meetings, not one of those 10 meetings went to 250. So I just don't see why this total is that high, especially if John Morant is questionable for this game. I think it's way too. It should be around 245, 246, but the Joe Public has pushed us up higher, and it's going to continue to go higher. I like the under if I can get a better number.
All right, so there you have it. There's a couple free plays. Nick, you got another free play for us?
I do. We got the Dallas Mavericks and the Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks are minus 10.5 here. The total sitting at 222.5. Dallas right now, they don't have Davis, and then the injury, the blow to Kyrie. Got to say, it's like Kobe mentality, though. He tore his ACL, and then he still hit his free throws. Yeah. So got to tip your cap to his competitiveness as a player there. But this Bucks team, they're on a 3-game winning streak, and they play their best basketball here at home, 20-9. I just don't see this Dallas Mavericks team without their 2 key guys being able to keep up with this offense for the Milwaukee Bucks. So I would lay the points here in Milwaukee, minus 10.5 over the Dallas Mavericks, Craig.
All right, I got a little free play, and I'll make it quick because we actually did a record of this, so you can go get it at our channel. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and then follow along all the picks. But the Kings, tonight, I think they're a live underdog. They're 4-1 straight up and against the spread. I like the Kings here. I don't know. They're the Bulls West. I know. DeRozan and Levine. And it's most teams, when they get younger, they got older. I don't know. I don't know the long term, but they're playing pretty good basketball right now. And this is a Denver team that, in my opinion, is just trying to hey, let's just stay healthy. They still feel like their best 5, 6, 7 guys is still championship level form, but they don't have a lot of depth. So injuries are a big issue. So I think they'll probably going to be trying from here to the end of the season, trying to limit Joker, limit Murray, limit Gordon's been out a bunch. So to me, I think you take the Kings here. I think they're live underdog to win outright, but we're definitely like them with the points. Bulls West. That's how we're going to call them from now on, Nick. That's your. I know you got rid of Zach LaVine. Maybe you like him more if he's not on your team, if you know what I mean.
Exactly.
All right, let's move to college hoops. And I mean, the madness has been crazy. I mean, I don't know if you guys checked out last night. Tony George's Nebraska Cornhuskers go to double, triple overtime and lose in the hundreds last night. I mean, we've had some unbelievable buzzer beaters the last week and a half. It's going to be with the most wide open year I've ever seen. I said that last year. I think it's even more wide open this year. Griffin, why don't you start us off here? What do you like as a free play here in college hoops? Pretty nice card, I think, tonight.
Yeah, Craig, let's jump into this matchup. We've got a huge game. Tennessee at Ole Miss. Ole Miss getting 2.5 points at home with the total sitting at 137.5. Tennessee right now coming off a massive victory over Alabama at home in their most recent matchup. So this team's flying as high as a kite right now. Ole Miss, they're a stout 12-3 at home, so you have to keep that in mind. The median here is they're 5-5 in their last 10 games. So that is going to be an immediate trap incentive for the public to be all over Tennessee in this matchup, as they have now won 4 consecutive matchups and they just beat Bama. That's a huge letdown spot in my eyes in this matchup. Give me Ole Miss here to win this game outright at plus 120. I believe Ole Miss takes it to them tonight. I think Tennessee is going to be way too high from that previous victory over Alabama. And with that being said, this is also just giving you so many incentives of traps. 5-5 in their last 10 games. You've got Tennessee, who's absolutely flying right now, and they're just laying 2.5 points on the road. I think this line should have been more like 3.5, 4. Because the line is just squeezed at 2.5, I believe Ole Miss takes this game outright as a trap incentive bet here, Craig.
Raphael, do you think this game in particular, like the SEC's been absolutely unbelievable year? I mean, I can't imagine odds makers setting these lines because, I mean, anybody can eat anybody in the far, top 10. Do you think there's going to be liability on one side or the other in this one?
Not really. I mean, we saw last night with Auburn going down, but I mean, Groomer was injured. He's probably not going to play his next game. This is one of those games where if you're Oklahoma, Arkansas, you want strength of schedule games. So if you lost to one of these teams like Tennessee, you want them to have monster game. So you boosted up your rankings to try to get that 13th team into the dance. Right now, SEC probably only going to get 12 teams, but there's guys right on that bubble, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas. So if you're anybody that's in the SEC, you're watching these big matchup games because a win or loss can actually boost your ratings to try to pop that bubble and go dancing.
Yeah, Tennessee to me is like, no matter what I do, if I play Tennessee, they absolutely beat, I bet against them, they win. I just can't. There's just some teams every year that are your nemesis. This is my team. I just have to stay away. Anytime I see Tennessee, heck, I'm like Middle Tennessee, I stay away now just because maybe it's just the
Blue Raiders.
I just like anything with Tennessee, I stay away because those Vols have killed me all year, those Volunteers. All right, Nick, what do you got for free play here tonight?
Yeah, let's go to a marquee matchup in the Big Ten. We got Maryland and Michigan. Michigan sitting at 2.5, the total 153.5. Both teams, they've been hot in their last 10 games. They are both 8-2 here, but Michigan just got absolutely blown out at home against Illinois, a banged-up Illinois team, I must say. This Maryland team, on the other hand, they just won at Penn State on the road. I just cannot trust this Michigan team here in big-time games, and this is a big-time game for these two teams. I would take Maryland with the points and maybe even throw a little pizza money on Maryland money line in Michigan here to get the job done. I just don't see Michigan winning this, big time marquee matchup games that they struggled all season long with, Craig.
Yeah, remember it's senior night around the country. Pretty much every team now will be senior night. Very rarely do you finish with 2 home games. So you can probably assume this is senior night here at Michigan. But the one thing I would worry about, like now with the transfer portal, it's not like these teams, played. These guys been there 4 or 5 years, and it's like, this is their alma mater. They're going to put it on their chest. These guys are 1-year wonders. Remember, Michigan pretty much flipped the roster, a lot of it. So I don't know how much senior night I would give to Michigan, although I do think I'm against you on this one. I did a free play video that I do think Michigan, they have not played well. Michigan stayed at home. They lost, and they lost to Illinois. It's kind of like, hey, we got to, for our psyche, get it right. Raphael, why don't you kick us with the next free pick here at College Hoops?
I was going to take Providence just because of who they're playing. But instead, the number moved on me. It opened up at 6 last night, and then when I was going to put it in, it's already up to 7.5. So I'm going to take Providence, the Friars, team total over 74.5. Why? Because they're playing DePaul. DePaul sucks. Mark Aguirre's not coming through that door anytime soon to play for DePaul. The Friars are averaging 90 points a game against DePaul. Those are back-to-back games. They scored 100 points last year and 81 points against them the game afterwards. I don't think DePaul has nothing to do. You know what their motto is in DePaul right now? 1, 2, 3 Cancun. That's what their motto is right now. They can't wait for the season to end. DePaul's dropped 9 out of the last 10. Their D is giving up 77 points in those 9 losses. These kids are looking for their transfer portal or spring break. These kids at DePaul don't want to play the Friars tonight.
Yeah, maybe the cheerleaders are spelling out Cancun instead of DePaul on the sidelines here. I like a Big East matchup too, and this is a down year for the Big East. St. John's, unbelievable year, what Rick Pitino's done, but I still am like grain of salt a little bit because who is he beating right now? Like Marquette, Creighton, and UConn, I think are just slightly a step down from the top teams in the Big 12 and the SEC. So I'm interested to see how, once we mix these conferences come the big dance, I think a lot of value is deciding how you power rank the conferences. because, just because you finish top and you win your conference tournament and the league, if say you're St. John's, that could be a little overrated this year on a down Big East. Speaking of down Big East, Butler. And I know all about Butler. My stepson goes to Butler as a freshman there, and you actually know some of the players. They kind of had some higher expectations. Not the media voted them like at the bottom 2 or 3, but as within that team, they had some guys that they thought they would be better than they are. But this is a rivalry game with Xavier. Xavier's biggest rival outside of Cincinnati is this Butler team. I mean, very physical games going back the last decade. I think Xavier is a must-win. Xavier's on the bubble. They cannot afford to lose this game. I think they take care of business. Xavier -4. I just think this is a pretty good Xavier team that's starting to round into form. And one of my favorite coaches, and I hate Xavier, by the way, I'm a Cincinnati guy. So like when you're talking about my rival, Miller has done a great job. Sean Miller has done a great job. First time he was there, and now again. And I think just because it's Butler's senior night, people are thinking Butler, they just have not been good. They play for about half the game, they'll be winning, and all of a sudden they just fall apart and end up losing and not covering. So I'm going to take Xavier in a must-win spot in this one. All right, I got a question for you, Raphael. Tonight, we start to see these, what I say, like, they're not must-wins, but, like in the A-10, there's a lot of teams fighting for that 2nd to 4th spot. So it's like, hey, we don't want to have to play an extra game, or we want to be able to play a worse team. Obviously, in an A-10, that's pretty balanced. What do you feel like tonight when you see these teams that kind of need a win? What do you feel like as an odds maker? Do you you worry about, because everybody in the public knows that they need to win?
I'll take the game that you were talking about right now between Xavier and Butler. Xavier, everyone knows they're on the bubble. They lose this game, they're pretty much done. It doesn't matter what they do in the conference tournament. So as for odds makers, you want to boost their number up so it gets that Butler money. Wow, I can take Butler at home senior night. I can get them +4. We've already seen that number already drop. You can get the X-Men at -3 at a couple global books. That shows the trend's moving. So if you made a number higher off the bat, you already got a cushion on the +4, +3.5. And so now you can move it and you have a cushion to balance both sides throughout the whole rest of the evening.
I'm a big teaser guy, and I like it this time of year because, a lot of these road or even home favorites are like, 6, 7 points. I don't like laying that, because sometimes the senior night actually can have the negative effect. It's like, oh, they win, but it's just barely because they have all this pressure with all their family there. I think there's some in the A-10 tonight, all the teams that need to win, I like them teasing them down, from that 7, 8, 9 number. Or there's even one that 12.5 that you can get it much lower. So I don't know about you guys. Griffin, you into the teaser market at all?
I am. I'm always teasing. I'm a big football teaser, though. I'm a big football teaser. I like the NFL tease.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL and college football, the reason why I always like it is because I can move it through the key numbers. It's like that's just such, in college basketball, obviously there's key numbers 3, 3.5, and 5.5, 6, 6.5. But
this game right here in college hoops, I'm in agreement here with Raphael that DePaul at Providence lane 7.5. Not a bad tease whatsoever to tease Providence down. DePaul, as Raphael just said, they absolutely suck. They're 1-10 on the road this season. They've lost 6 straight. Providence, on the other hand, they've lost 3 consecutive games, but this comes to a strength of schedule impact. They've dealt with Georgetown, Marquette, and UConn in their last 3 games. Currently, this line sitting at 7.5. I think Providence absolutely pipes down the brutal DePaul team and lay the 7.5. I think they beat them by double digits here tonight. So I'm also on that team total. I like that call, Ralph, with Providence, and I like laying the points here at -7.5. And I don't hate the tease either. You can tease Providence down, get them at 1.5. I mean, they'll win this game by a bucket.
I hate the tease. You don't tease. I'm going to speak on a sports book point of view.
That's
right
fine.
now.
I know you're worst.
The worst sport to tease is college basketball. It's we used to laugh when people would come up to the window and say, "Can I get a 5-point tease?" And they'll ram off four games in college basketball. And when he's walking away, we're all laughing at him. Now, I don't mind football teasers, especially 2 and 3. 3 is the max I would tell people to go. 2 is probably the smart way. But when you're teasing college basketball, you just broke my heart a little bit, Craig.
Well, like I always say, like tease. I only do 2 teams.
Everybody's got their own opinions, like parlays. Although we've smacked our show, we've won 7 out of our last 8 shows, including parlays. So you know what? Everybody's got their own cup of tea, and I don't hate teasing college basketball, but myself.
I mean, it's like a two-team parlay, money line parlay that like people like to play. So that basically you play two favorites, you get them at even money. Teasers can be the same way. If you're like, 4-point teaser on a team that's 5 points, you're basically kind of becomes a money
I would
line
tease
parlay.
Providence because DePaul sucks. Griffin's nailed it. I would tease Providence all day long. And add it to any sport.
I kind of think St.
NHL,
Bonaventure
college
too.
Baseball, add Providence.
Yeah, so I like St. Bonaventure as well. They're a 7.5-point favorite. They're one of the teams in the A10 that needs to win tonight and over the weekend to try to move up or maintain their standings, depending on what everybody else does. So I kind of think if you like teaser tonight, those two are a nice little teaser. I do have a little 2-team teaser, 2-unit play tonight. Aren't in these two, obviously, but I'm interested to see the Big East, the A10, and what's the other team I'm looking at? Oh, ACC. Those 3 teams, because it's like there's not many bids coming out of these conferences this year. So it's like, you're really, really, really battling to try to get seeding because you feel like, hey, if we can avoid, playing an easier team, now we only got to win 2 games. We're in the NCAA tournament. Now the ACC obviously is a little different. They have like 1 billion teams in there now. Like it's going to be, Duke, Wake Forest, and Louisville. I can't imagine one of those 3 teams aren't winning it. All right, let's talk a little NHL, and then we can circle back if we have extra time. We always kick it off with our ice hockey specialist, and that's old Nick Menken over here. Nick, there's some, I call me crazy. I think there could be some upsets tonight. Do you have any gems for us here?
No dogs right now, but I do have one that I'm pretty confident in, and it's the Washington Capitals and the New York Rangers. The total is sitting at 5.5. The New York Rangers are on a 2-game winning streak coming in. They're playing really good hockey here. The Capitals, they just won their last game on the road against the Senators in a shootout. The Capitals play their best hockey on the road statistically. They have 20 wins on the season, and like I said, this New York Rangers team has been playing very well. I believe they're winners of 7 out of their last 10 games here, but I love this Capitals team to get the job done and continue this winning streak here and snap in the New York Rangers. I would take the Capitals on the money line in this game, Craig, but also I will give you another gem. Watch out for those Chicago Blackhawks. They just picked up Spencer Knight. He was the backup goalie for the Florida Panthers, and he came and he started his first game, and he beat the Los Angeles Kings 5-1 at home. Just a very good pickup by the Chicago Blackhawks. So if you got pizza money, I would sprinkle a little bit on the money line as they play the Ottawa Senators, and you're getting a good price as well with the Chicago Blackhawks on the money line, Craig.
All right. Griffin, you have anything for us today in NHL?
Yeah, I have a totals play. I've got Anaheim at Vancouver. The current money line is -215 Vancouver. We have a total sitting at 5.5. Vancouver's lost 2 consecutive games. This team actually plays a lot better on the road opposed to home, and they are at home tonight. Anaheim, they're playing tight 500 hockey on the road with a 13-13 record. Anaheim is currently 29th in the NHL in offensive goals per game, while Vancouver is 26th. This is an automatic Trapp incentive. Total sitting at 5.5. Both of these teams cannot light up the lamp offensively. I'm going with the over in this game at 5.5, as I believe this is going to actually turn into an offensive shootout, as both of these teams are in desperate needs for wins, and they're both competitive when it comes to the defensive side of the puck. This is going to grab the public's attention. Trap line in my eyes. Give me the over in this matchup, Craig, at 5.5.
Well, I think Anaheim's a live dog tonight. I like them at +1.5.
I looked at it.
I love them at +1.5. I think that's a nice little parlay, +1.5. And the underdog and the over tonight. I just think it's like you said, this Vancouver team is not a world beaters at home. And I don't know. It just feels like, this point of the year, and Raphael, you probably can speak to this. We're at the second half of all these seasons, and, we're at the basically finish line for college basketball. It seems like the favorite numbers get even juiced up more. Like, you got to be willing to take some of these underdogs, or like in the NHL where we're the +1.5 on the puck line. Is this the time of year where, as a bookmaker, you just got it? It's like an extra, 20, 30 units or points, basis points on these favorites.
Vancouver opened at -260 last night, and I'm thinking, really? -260? Are you crazy? That's why I love this overplay. It was almost going to be my selected play on my card today, but I switched it really, really late, which I normally don't do. So that means my premium play loses and Griffin's play wins. That's how it usually goes for me. But I'm just blown away on how they play this price. And I'll put out my free play right here. Love the Capitals. Bet them last night at -108 at a shop that I'm not allowed to say online. But I'm I'm going to say this. Everyone sit down. I would even think about parlaying this with Alex Ovechkin under 0.5 assists tonight. This one opened up at -145. It's now -$2. I would still play it at -$2. He has hit this prop bet in 17 of his last 20 road games. In his last 5 meetings against the Rangers, he's got 0 assists. 5 games of 0. He ain't passing a puck. He's going to break their record next month. He's not passing a puck. He's shooting or sitting on a bench. That's all Alex the Great is going to do today.
All right. I actually want to do a little PSA. Don't forget, get in on Docs Plus or Docs Premium or Docs Premium Plus. The link is in the description, I believe. Or you can just go to the member page and click join. For $49.99, you get 3 expert plays. And I do believe one of them is your play tonight, Raphael.
Didn't even know we had this Premium Plus.
Yeah, so Premium Plus, $49.99. I log in every day between 12 and 12:30. It will be by 12:30. You'll get 3 picks in the video. It's a minute and a half, 2-minute video. So today we have NBA, NHL, and college basketball. You have 4-unit, 3-unit, and 4-unit. So, and it's different cappers each day. I just randomly pick whoever I think.
Do I get the Disney Plus if I order the Premium Plus for Docs? Do I get the?
No, I wish, but
No?
make sure you do it on desktop. It will be $49. If you go on your phones, because Google and YouTube or Google and Apple charge a fee, then YouTube, of course, upcharges. So instead of $49.99, it's $65. So don't pay the extra. Get a little value. Go in and get that, and you'll get the Indian Cowboy, by the way. So if you get the Premium Plus, you get Indian Cowboy 3. He gives like 3 or 4 or 5 leans every day as well, and a limited live show. So go in and get that. Like I said, I do think I believe. Just tell me this. We don't want to give them the play because we want them to have to buy, but I believe it's an overplay tonight, right? Your NHL play?
Mine, I do believe it is.
Yeah. So
I didn't get off Mardi Gras. I don't even know what I did this.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I had.
So it's a 3-unit play. I'm pretty sure. I thought I picked Raphael's play because he was going to be on today, so I wanted to promote it. But there you go. So you can get his play, and that's included. And of course, these aren't going to be the 7, 8. There's not going to have game of the years in there because obviously you have to go over to the website to buy those. But these are a little extra to kind of get a glimpse of what we do daily. And usually you got to pay $30 per sport per day, so that would be $90, and you're getting it for what, $1 a day.
It is an overplay. I just checked.
Yeah, so there you go. All right, so I got like a little, like I said, I do like the +1.5 on Anaheim, but I want a quick question. Hopefully I'm not taking a premium play from you, Nick. But tonight we've got this Washington team that I saw some advanced numbers like that they were the underdog. It's kind of flipped a little bit. And then I also about Toronto. These are both teams that I think road teams that can win tonight. And I thought at one point I thought I was getting them at plus, and I was going to parlay these together. I think both of them are the better team, and I think both of them win. Which one of these like road favorites you like more?
The dog, I would go with the Toronto Maple Leafs there against the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Knights only scored 2 goals in their last game. Their defense, though, it has been stellar, but I forgot who they just played. New Jersey Devils, I believe it was the Devils there at home, but their defense has been a little lackey. I'm all over the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it's actually a premium play. So there you guys go.
There you go. There's a little bonus. I think Toronto, their defense is solid. I mean, they're really good. And, like it's just like, defense wins championships. I think Toronto and, Maple Leafs every year is their championship according to their fans, and it's been forever. But I kind of think this might be the year where they actually have a good shot. Although I do think the East is, going to be tough. But I do think Toronto gets it done tonight. So I'm glad you said Toronto. All right. So let's do a little housekeeping on the way out the door. I want to thank everybody here for joining us today. Raphael, thanks for coming on as always. And of course, Nick and Griffin. But we'll be back tomorrow, 1:00 Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow we'll have on Robert Ferrigno. We're going to talk a ton of college hoops. On Friday, he'll be back on Friday. On Friday's show, I want to talk some conference tournament action because, of course, we won't be able to – some of those conference tournaments start on Monday, believe it or not, and the rest of them on Tuesday. And we won't have Robert on before there. So maybe if he has a future that he likes, maybe an underdog to win some of these conference tournaments, so we'll be having that. So make sure you stay tuned. And then, of course, get the free $60 account. Today is the game of the year for Griffin in the NBA. He already told us what it is. I think he gets it done tonight. I like this one. So if you use this free 60, you can use 30 of those dollars to get in on his play tonight. Of course, if you're an existing user, just go into the grid, get the NBA package. It's $30 for the day. 30, that's it. Or the week for $99, and you'll get 7 days of all his NBA plays. So make sure you check that out. And all the information there is in the member area if you like any of the other cappers there. So have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back on Thursday, and I hope all your bets are winning ones.